Hey, Dark. Hey, Vergil. And oh, who's this now?
Don't act so surprised, Aqua. I advised I'd be doing this. I'd like you two to meet my mother.
Hello. You must be the friends Vergil has told me so much about. It's an honor to meet you both.
Honor is all ours, Miss Eva.
Yeah, nice to meet the other side of the coin, so to speak.
Oh, is that so?
Well, Sparta's been on here a couple of times now, and come to think of it, haven't you been on too?
I don't think so. This is the first time to my memory I've been here.
No, Dark, that was Trish.
Who?
Oh yeah, I remember now. It was Trish.
I'm sorry, whom are you speaking of?
Trish? Your son's friend and board mate.
I know not of this person.
She's the one who looks exactly like you, ma'am, only if you went shopping at Harley-Davidson.
Well, that's news to me.
Excuse me, but what the heck?
Dark. Allow me to fill you in on this. They've never actually met before.
Come again?
Trish and my mother have never met in person. In fact,
Oh, wait. Are you all talking about Vergil's imaginary friend?
I'll let it speak for itself.
How has your mother never met Trish? Don't you all hang out together?
We do. But for some astronomically impossible reason, the two are never in the same room together. Ever.
Ever?
Never. You could actually set your watch to it that when one comes into the room, the other leaves. It's like some cruel and unusual magic.
And what's with the imaginary friend thing?
Well, she won't believe any of us that Trish exists. So, she refers to her as the family imaginary friend. I'll just leave it at that.
Leave what?
Never mind. Let us get to business. Everyone, we have a tier list, do we not?
Oh, yeah, we do have that at long last.
Hey, I don't control how things go around here, especially when it comes to the antics of that man.
And what is that supposed to mean?
Vergil, have you been misbehaving again?
And no, mother. Never.
Good, because I'd rather not dirty my new shoes.
What brand are you wearing?
Manolo Blahnik. They're my favorite, but I'm not known to turn away a good set of Louboutins either.
Red bottoms. Respectable.
Indeed. Do you have a preferred brand, dear?
Yeah, I like to go thrifting to find deals on brands like Casadei or Salvatore Ferragamo.
Oh, I absolutely adore Casadei's. Just the other day, I found the most to die for pair at this antique store, while Sparta and I were out shopping and—
I hate to interrupt, but we do have business to take care of.
Yeah, if I've learned anything from this dude, it's that his takes are interesting to say the least.
And what does that supposedly mean?
Giovanotto, non lasciare che la tua bocca metta il tuo culo dove possa essere facilmente respinto.
What?
If anyone knows pasta, it's my boy. I raised him for 8 years on homemade sauces and noodles kneaded with flour, eggs, tomatoes, and love. He'd ask me every year for his birthday to make pasta bolognese with a little sprig of uncut parsley for—
And you've spoiled it. Thanks, Mom. But whatever. Let's begin before something weird happens.
Oh, what a magnificent list. Did you make it, Vergil?
No, it was gracefully provided by a benefactor of mine. And I agree, it is an exceptional selection. One I eagerly await to mess with.
Well then, why are you still waiting? Let's start.
Right. So first of all, we have cacio e pepe, the first of the 4 Roman pasta dishes.
Isn't this the one that's just cheese and pepper?
Correct. The main ingredients are simply the pasta of your choice, pepper, and pecorino romano cheese. You make it by boiling the pasta in salted water, toasting your peppercorns in a pan, grating your cheese, and then adding them together once the pasta is al dente before mixing. Like You're My Boys, comboing on some demons.
Yes. You need to hit that smokin' sexy style rank, or else the sauce will break and you end up with globs of cheese strewn throughout. This dish is easy to make in concept, but the innumerable ways it can go wrong make it a daunting task.
Plus, it's kind of the plain Jane of the 4 Roman pastas. Don't get me wrong, it's still good, but the other 3 are literally this with stuff added in that all elevate it. At least for me.
And they make it easier to emulsify, too. So, with all that said, I'm placing cacio e pepe in B tier. Not bad, but definitely room for improvement.
Especially if the improvement is in your cooking skills.
I'm going to ignore that comment and move on. Next up, we have cacio e pepe's Pokemon-style evolution in pasta alla Grisha.
I love pasta alla gricia. It's such a beautiful dish. Take what was already so good about cacio and then add wonderful pancetta or, better yet, guanciale to the mix. It's so lovely to—
It's going into C tier.
What? Vergil, explain yourself.
I'm not a fan of guanciale. Never have been. Too much funk for my tongue. I have to eat around it.
But I've made you so many alla gricias over the years. Just the other night we had some and your plate was empty.
And isn't Father looking a bit more rotund than usual?
Sparta, how could he? After all this, I'm being betrayed by my own husband and son.
I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions. And I'll make the easy one of putting mushroom ravioli in C tier.
Oh, I agree with that. It's not the best.
Indeed. While I am very fond of regular ravioli, mushroom ravioli that is usually served with brown butter sauce is something I find very rich, but has no good taste to go along with it. I'm just not a fan of the earthiness, especially when some wingnut decides to throw actual nuts in the mix.
And he says that knowing full well that this is my favorite pasta dish of all time.
Untrue.
We were literally in that little Giuseppe's when I ordered it and said, this is my favorite pasta dish.
I have no recollection. All I know is that it's subpar at its best. Unlike our next entry, which has actually changed my view on pasta as a whole.
Really?
Yes. As my mother pointed out, I once believed bolognese to be the peak pasta. However, as I have matured and explored the culinary landscape, I have made an epiphanic discovery. This is no longer the case. There is a new pasta of which I crown the undisputed champion. Aglio e olio.
Aglio e olio? Seriously?
Yes, Mother. Seriously. Like I said before, this dish has given me a new outlook on my appreciation for pasta. Whereas before, I found favor with dishes perhaps too busy for their own good. The discovery of this dish shattered that conception by being the exact polar opposite.
It's only made with pasta, garlic, pepper flakes, parsley, and sometimes butter, isn't it?
Correct. Though in some circles, even the butter is frowned upon.
Butter is foolishness. For if you do it right, you can bring those four ingredients together into something so ethereally wonderful that it made this devil cry.
Oh boy. No, the reason he likes it so much is because it's the only one he knows how to make without screwing it up. It's not hard to make aglio e olio, and even if you do somehow mess it up, the results are still edible.
And wouldn't that not qualify it for being the best? Imagine a pasta with such a salty, earthy, feisty flavor that's so easy to make you can do it while intoxicated. And it is so forgiving that even if you overdo it and fry the noodles, it's still one of the most delicious things you've ever eaten in your life.
Right. And you're 100% that wasn't the Romulan ale speaking for you?
Again, I have no recollection.
You wouldn't...
I will stab you.
You'll do no such thing now.
Fine. So, to continue on, we have Alfredo up next. It's a commendably tasty dish, but yet one of the most lost and mutilated recipes I've ever seen. There's so many variants, so many deviants, and so much of that is a perversion of what this dish truly is. No, you do not need heavy cream, nor do you need to make a roux. All you need to get it right is some Parmigiano Reggiano, butter, and some good fettuccine, and voila. You're done. Parsley is optional, but nothing else is needed.
What about chicken or shrimp?
What about them?
Are you saying they don't belong on the dish?
Not traditionally. If I am favoring them in the mood, I will not turn them away. But for the purest form of this dish, they are not needed. The true fettuccine Alfredo pasta is simply a cousin of cacio e pepe. However, due to both its popularity and ease of creation, I shall place it above its relative and into the A tier. Unless you make the kind from a powder in a box. Then I don't even want to speak to you.
Harsh, but okay. Ooh, the next one should be fun.
After everything I've heard today, I'm not so sure of that.
Have faith, Mother. For next up, we have the iconic pasta carbonara. And without a doubt, this dish goes into S tier.
Ah, thank heavens, he still has some sense.
And why wouldn't this dish rank high? It's a wonder of chemistry and culinary process working together to create a masterpiece. The simple addition of an egg to the alla Grecia recipe changes the complexion completely, creating a smooth, creamy sauce with which you could challenge even the greatest of Alfredos.
I happen to agree, Vergil. There is simply nothing more incredible than...
Of course, I do prefer the versions that swap out the pecorino and guanciale for parmesan and thick-cut bacon.
Mio Dio, perché il mio ragazzo mi ha abbandonato?
Sono un uomo adulto, mamma. Posso prendere le mie decisioni.
I really shouldn't have stopped taking my Duolingo lessons.
Well, that's your own fault. Moving on, our next dish is the last member of the classical Roman dishes, pasta all'amatriciana, also known as the black sheep of the Big Four. It's identical to carbonara, except that instead of an egg, it uses crushed tomatoes as well as a peperoncino, or red pepper flakes, failing that. Think of it like a spicy marinara sauce with some pork bits thrown in.
And let me guess, you choose to not use the traditional cuts and go with bacon.
Actually, some nice pancetta works quite well with the tomatoes, and I am known to enjoy this when I visit Nero and Kay Rie. She takes great pride in this dish and serves it up well to us. Therefore, I will award it the top spot in A tier. Congratulations, Kay Rie. You have won this dish a Medal of Honor from the Alpha and the Omega.
Who's that?
Myself.
Never mind, continue.
Right. Onward we go to an old friend. Ah, yes. My former favorite pasta dish. Pasta bolognese. Also known as ragu alla bolognese or meat sauce, it's a warm and hearty dish you might at first mistake for a stew. Made with a variety of meats such as beef, pork, and sometimes lamb, cooked down with traditional sofrito, which is carrot, celery, and onions, before deglazing your pan with white wine and adding milk, as well as some form of tomatoes, either crushed or tomato paste. It's wonderful. Something that can fill your dark soul with light every time. What's more, change the noodle type and add some white sauce, and you have lasagna. Need I say more?
Dang, not really. I can tell you really like this dish, Vergil.
Indeed he did. Like I said, he asked for it every year for his birthday.
Cute, but you said it's no longer your favorite, Vergil, so where does that mean you rank it?
Foolishness, Dark. Foolishness. Just because it no longer takes the proverbial cake from me, that is no reason that pasta bolognese deserves nothing less than S tier. It's still peak, even if it has to share that spot. Which is more than I can say for our next entry, gnocchi.
Oh, gnocchi! It's so cute.
That is all it has going for it. Listed here as pesto gnocchi, but I feel the same way about all gnocchi. I'm not its biggest fan, to say the least. Whether it be made from potatoes or ricotta or whatever, I find it somewhat gritty and unappetizing. One of the more disappointing dishes I've come across during my years of pasta enjoyment. Not even the fact that you can put it with nearly any sauce saves it from being mid at best. D tier.
Right. And yet again, he says this with knowledge that I enjoy gnocchi and have openly said so before. I feel like this list is targeting me.
Nah, Bray, you're capping.
Did you just nah-bra me again?
What does nah, bre mean?
It's like a slang way of saying no. Nothing too deep.
Huh, I think I'll start saying that.
Mother, please don't.
Nah, bre.
Dang it. Moving on, we have as our penultimate dish is the simple pasta marinara.
What isn't there to love? A plate of noodles made from eggs, water, flour, and sometimes oil covered with a simple sauce made from stewing tomatoes, garlic, basil, olive oil, and sometimes onion bound together by the very salty and starchy water used to bring the noodles to al dente perfection. It is undoubtedly...
B tier, and please hear me out.
I am tempted not to. Very tempted.
Pasta marinara is quite possibly the genesis for the majority of pasta. Like you said, it's as simple as noodles and sauce. The basis upon which so many other dishes are made, you can do so much with it. Add hamburger, sausage, cured pork, sugar, oregano, cheese, or even cream to make something great. But when you look at it by itself, are we really getting anything special?
No, he's got a point.
Really? Surprised to hear you say that.
Well, think of it this way. Plain ice cream is good, but adding nearly anything else makes it better.
Except for pistachios.
You're killing your own point, man.
I see it now. Though it is fundamental to the building structure of pasta, marinara isn't the most jaw-dropping thing on its own. I suppose B tier is rather appropriate after all.
Thank you, Mother.
What's up, party people? Hey, Mama!
Hello, dear.
Hey, Dante. We were just doing a pasta tier list. We're just about done, though. Like, there's one left.
Aw, shucks. But hey, at least it's my personal favorite. Spaghetti and meatballs.
Yes, indeed. Spaghetti and meatballs. Our last entry and the personal favorite of my brother.
You betcha it is. I love me a good plate of spaghetti and meatballs.
D tier. Bottom of the list.
You serious?
Absolutely. It's not an Italian pasta dish. D tier.
Ah, that's bullpucky. How many people love spag and balls?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't qualify. Oh, and never call it that again?
Put it higher and I won't.
Nah, bre.
Well then, I guess there's only one way to settle this. Meet me in 5?
Wouldn't miss it.
Boys, if you're entertaining the idea of fighting, then don't. I won't have you mess up the yard again.
Fine.
All right. We won't fight in the yard.
Il buon Dio del cielo, aiutami.
Arrivederci, folks.
Well, that does it for me. I'll be leaving. However, I had fun making this list. We should do another sometime.
Agreed. I'll find us some topics.
Hopefully next time I won't get dunked on in it.
Highly doubtful. Anyways, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for hearing me out. Until next time. Ciao.
All right, I gotta go. Miss Eva, it was a pleasure to meet you. Take care.
The pleasure was all mine, handsome.
Lord, not this time.
Welp, it's just us.
It would appear so.
Yappers.
Aqua, would you like to go shopping? I know a little store that has some of the best deals.
Absolutely. Actually, would you mind if I invited a third guest?
Not at all.
What's up, ladies?
Perfect. Now, we're ready.
Five minutes later.
Hey, Vergil. Your pasta ranking days are over. Give me the tier list.
If you want it, then you'll have to take it. But you already knew that.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
How many times have we fought?
Hard to say. It's the only memory I have of us since we were kids. Time to finish this, Vergil. Once and for all.